Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. Today is part 2 day. We are going to be going over how to step it up a notch if you have mature skin, you are getting into skincare, you're ready to take that next step. You don't know what products you need to add or what devices you might need to try. So we're going to be going over all of it. I'm going to share my routine and kind of some options to age gracefully. So if you want to check it out, please keep watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for being here. Okay friends, so since this is a step up from part 1 where we went over what I consider like the bare minimum basics for starting a skincare routine if you are over 35, 40, whatever you consider mature skin, before you start seeing those visible signs of aging, I think is a good time to start that kind of protocol. I've been a little skincare obsessed for quite a few years now. I had to think back, what are some of the, what I call almost like skincare investments that I've made that I feel like are that next step if you want to take it up a notch and really start seeing results. And the first one had to be, can you guys guess? My Sleep and Glow pillow. So shout out to Sleep and Glow. Thank you for sponsoring this video. This is my Omnia pillow. Now, I will be honest, I originally got this pillow not for wrinkles per se, but to keep my lashes on longer because I am a side sleeper and I would squish my face and my lashes would lift on the outer corners. And so this is what I saw recommended. So that's why I wanted to try the pillow. Now that I don't wear lashes all the time, it's like my saving grace for preventing those sleep wrinkles, those up and down vertical wrinkles, they call them, that if let go long enough, they will become permanent. So in my opinion, part of aging gracefully is preventing the use of invasive procedures as much as possible. I don't know about you guys, I'm slightly thrifty. I don't want to make a big investment in this unless I know it's going to work. But to me, this is way more affordable than getting something like Botox every 3 months, which if you've ever gotten it, it's a little pricey and it really adds up when you have to do it consistently. Not saying I don't need it, but I have not gotten Botox in years. I pretty much just live by my skincare routine, and this is one of my saving graces, something I can't go without. I notice if I'm not using it, I wake up way more puffy, way more aged. When I literally wake up and I'm like, oh gosh, why did I not pack my pillow? For me, it's a long-term investment that just keeps on giving. And I do have a discount code, used Chemist to save from Sleep and Glow. And this is the Omnia, which is my favorite, which is made for side sleepers. They also have one if you want to teach yourself to sleep on your back. This one is still my favorite. I've tried both, but I go back to this one every time. So I almost classify my pillow as like a device, even though it's not. It's in my skincare lineup that I feel like is not skincare yet is for my face, if that makes sense. So I want to share in this video how I incorporate some of the devices that I use and things that I'm starting to use this year, because one of my skincare resolutions, if you will, is to get back to skincare cycling and using some of these new devices that, I'll be honest, I just haven't been consistent with. And if you know anything about skincare, it's all about consistency, right? So if you remember in part 1, we went over both AM and PM. I did a few different versions of what I would consider basic, and we're gonna take those simple regimens and we're gonna step it up and we're gonna add things that, in my opinion, are best for mature skin. Now, one of the things that I didn't really focus on in those regimens would be other skincare concerns. It was pretty much mature skin, anti-aging, aging gracefully, trying to turn back the hands of time with fine lines, wrinkles, skin laxity, all of those things, right? But I'm sure, as most of you guys know, as we age, that is not our only concern. And so if you want to step things up a notch, I would say pick your secondary concern, maybe even your tertiary or third one. I would not go over 3. If anti-aging is your first concern, you can stick with that sample regimen and then just add, say, like a targeted serum for one of those things that you also want to target. So mine is going to be hyperpigmentation. If you couldn't tell, it's something I've struggled with for a very long time. It is something that is not easy to target. It's a very complicated process, but I'm gonna share some of the things I've added into my regimen this year, because I'm hoping this year is gonna be the year that I'm really gonna be able to see a difference. All about consistency, especially when it comes to dark spots. It's something that you will never be able to stop working on, so you'll never be able to like remove a dark spot serum from your regimen if dark spots are something you struggle with, because they're always below the surface. And the next one is just wanting to pop up. So some of the things you can target hyperpigmentation, obviously that's dark spots, anything from acne scarring to age spots, melasma, anything that is an excess of melanin, the pigment that can be caused by hormones or just too much sun exposure as you were young. Color matching clients for many, many years, I can say that is one of the things that will age us the most. And you'll notice with mature skin, the more dark spots you will have. And that is mostly from sun exposure, because we didn't wear sunscreen like we do now, right? It wasn't a thing to wear sunscreen unless you were going on vacation. Now it's a daily habit, hopefully, that all of you guys have. Also, redness, rosacea is something I have talked about before, something I also struggle with. You can keep your regimen the same and then add something for dark spots, for example. Breakouts, yes, are still a thing as our hormones are changing as we're going through perimenopause and then menopause. And then dehydration, I feel like, is probably one of the biggest ones as our estrogen levels change as we're going through menopause, and suddenly you might have very dry or dehydrated skin. And so that might be something you have to focus on also as you're aging. You probably see a lot of the ingredients overlap. So you don't necessarily have to get separate products for every single concern. A lot of these things, like we talked about in part 1, a retinoid is going to help with breakouts, hyperpigmentation, anti-aging, all of those things. And so you don't necessarily need multiple products. If you're using a retinoid, you are already tackling all 3 of those. Does that make sense? So you don't necessarily need a lot of things. A lot of these ingredients, like glycerin for dehydration, are in a lot of our other products. And so really make sure you are looking at your labels, like I always say, knowing what's in your product, so then you know if a product you're using is unnecessary, and we can maybe eliminate a 10-step routine. It's not necessary when there's so many amazing formulated products on the market that have kind of that multi-component factor to tackle multiple things at once. So I want to show you guys my calendar. I think this is such a great idea, and I've done this since I started skincare. If you're doing a very simple routine, you might not need it, but when you get into a little bit more of a complicated routine or skincare cycling, which I'm going to talk about, then this might really help you. I used to put Post-its in my bathroom, and now I use a straight up calendar, and I use washi tape and I stick it inside my cabinet. So this was my January calendar, things I wanted to focus on, a routine I needed to like get back into consistency. And so I could literally just look at the day of the week and be like, all right, today is a barrier day. And I knew what I needed to use that night. So this is mostly my nighttime. This is my cycling routine. AM is like always the same. It can kind of vary based on how much time you might have. On the weekends, I have more time sometimes. And so I will take my time doing a regimen, or I will use some of these devices more. So when I get to PM, I'll talk more about how we can devise a cycling routine. So from our morning routine in our first one, it's not going to change much. We are going to either cleanse with a gentle cleanser. I'm loving some micellar cleansers lately. I feel like they're really gentle and like just really great. So this is either like a secondary cleanse or a morning cleanse. So the Outset has one. It's really good. And then I just got this one sent to me by Beekman, and it's also a micellar, and they're gels, but they're not gels in the sense of like, you normally think a gel is for oily skin and they're a little bit more stripping. These are not. So we're either gonna do a first cleanse with a micellar water, or just splash your face with water, or cleanse if you feel like you need to remove remaining oil. So that is for my oily girl. Freshly cleaned skin. This is the time I like to break out my devices. So I want to briefly share each one, who they'd be good for, and when you would use them, and why. First up would be LED light emitting diodes, red light therapy. Some of these also have blue light, but if I had to pick one device that would be the most beneficial for anti-aging, I would probably say red light. I would pick red light over anything else. It reduces inflammation. It helps with redness if that's a secondary concern. It will improve your skin's texture, tone, promotes collagen, so it helps those fine lines and wrinkles. And it helps acne and things like eczema. I saw a great improvement when I started using this every single day when I had my eczema flare up. I recently shared this one and I was like, oh, it doesn't like cover my face very well. And then they sent me their newest one and they're like, oh no, actually we made it way bigger. So the new version of the Cure Mask, which this is the one that uses an app. You can designate which zones. It can do both red and blue light, both at the same time, or different zones. Say you're breaking out on your chin, you can choose blue light for that, red light everywhere else. I really do like how comfortable this mask is, and it's really short and sweet. 6 minutes is all it takes. And so I feel myself reaching for this one because it's just so fast. I could throw it on and walk around and it doesn't get in the way, and I can like pour myself a cup of coffee while doing my red light in the morning. And by the time I get my coffee, I'm like done with the treatment. So very easy. I will put my discount code down below. Now, the current body ones are known for having really amazing wavelengths of their red light. I'm not gonna get into all the science about which wavelengths and all of that. It can get really complicated. This is the first generation. It works perfectly fine, but they have gotten even better in the second generation. So if you're looking for a mask and you're curious the difference, I would go in with the second one if you can swing it. This one is not the most comfortable to wear, and it has a cord, which isn't a big deal, but I find the nose area really uncomfortable. I think it's just a 10-minute, so it's not very long. I will put it on while I'm watching Netflix or whatever. It does cover my face a little bit better, as far as like, I have a very large forehead. My kids say I have a 5 head. I have a very large forehead, okay? So this one does kind of cover my forehead slightly better, but it's more uncomfortable. So the newer version has a new strap, has new technology. There is a difference between different masks on the market, but I'd say as long as you're getting it from a reputable source, like Current Body has been around for a very long time. They're kind of OG in the standard for the market, and their science is there. But I wouldn't just go to Amazon and buy any cheap mask because if the red light isn't at the certain wavelength you need, it's actually not gonna do anything. So for red light, all you have to really worry about is doing it on clean skin. Don't put any skincare on first. do your red light, and then you can follow it up with your regimen and use the rest of your routine. I love red light because you don't have to worry about doing anything else with it. Like, it is safe to use no matter what. Like, if I was just to have a microneedling in an office or something like that, it would actually help my skin recover and heal faster. So there's not a time that you can't necessarily use it or you need to be worried about it. I get questions all the time like, what do I need underneath my mask? Nothing. Clean skin. Don't put anything on that could interfere with that light, especially SPF. That would be a waste of time. Now, the next thing is microcurrent. Now, these are probably the two most recognized microcurrent devices, the NuFace and the Zip. Now, the NuFace, the big difference between these two, NuFace is just microcurrent, and the Zip uses microcurrent and nanocurrent. Microcurrent is more of an instantaneous result, and nanocurrent is more long-term. So this one will have both short-term benefits, that instant lift, but then also long-term collagen production. The biggest downfall with like a NuFace device is you have to use it very consistently. Results will go away. So when you stop using this, you will no longer see any results. So it's not something that's cumulative, that will get better with time. The Zip will do that though. So if you're looking at the difference between the two, that is the main difference. Microcurrent in and of itself is like, it's like, think of it as like a workout. You're like stimulating your muscles. And so you're gonna get that tightening and that lifting from like working out your muscles. When you stop working out, yeah, you still have a little benefit there, but like eventually you stop working out, you're no longer gonna see any results. That's microcurrent. The difference is nanocurrent also generates ATP, which is used in our cell. That ATP is really important when it comes to skin cell renewal and the anti-aging process. And so that's why this would be my pick. I've used the NuFace before, but this year I really am gonna focus on using the Zip to see if I can get ultimate lift. So particularly you can get this immediate lift in the brow area and the cheek. That's where you're gonna see the benefits from this. You can do different modes to target different areas of your face. Don't necessarily need it every single day. I'd say 3 to 5 times a week. If you're really looking for an immediate lift to your face when it comes to the brow and cheek area, then microcurrent or nanocurrent is what you want to be looking into. The next device I'm going to incorporate this year is the NUA. Now this is actually radio frequency, and I have yet to use this, so I will have to give you my thoughts once I'm trying it. But the more I research it, the more I'm like, oh yes, I need to give this a go as soon as possible. So radio frequency actually creates heat in the skin. The reason why I've been a little bit, hesitant is because heat can actually make hyperpigmentation worse. So just know that. It gives an immediate tightening effect as it actually like compacts the collagen in your skin, and then in turn it will produce more collagen. Obviously this device isn't as strong as something you're gonna get in an office, but with prolonged use, you are gonna be able to see tightening of skin laxity. As long as you don't have like a dramatic sagging of the skin, it's gonna work in tightening things like the jowl and neck. This is one of the biggest questions I'm getting, and usually I'm like, there's nothing that can tighten this, and that's because microcurrent can't do it, but radio frequency can give a benefit. So this is gonna be for all my ladies who want to see jowls, and this is why I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see it, and I don't have the turkey neck yet, but it works really well for the jowl area and then this area right underneath the neck. You just want to avoid the thyroid, but you can use it all the way up to the cheeks and even the forehead. Reduce fine lines. I've seen great results from those that have gotten these lines to smooth out, and anything even around the eyes. You don't want to go up to the eyes, but you can do the cheek area and then this lower jaw and then the turkey neck areas. So you have to commit to the first 2 months doing it a good 20 minutes a day. And then you can go to maintenance mode, 2 to 3 days. This is FDA approved, as is all of the devices I'm sharing with you. I find this to be a really great at-home option if laxity in this area is your main concern. Now, the next option is a laser. I have had these devices longer than I can even care to admit, and really have never been consistent with them. So my goal in 2025 is to really see what they can do. Now, I will say the radio frequency, the NUA and these NERA need to be alternated. So I would say either alternate months or do one for 3 months and then the other for the next 3 months. Because both kind of create heat that like causes damage. I don't want to say damage, but that's what in turn is like signaling your body to repair itself and create more collagen. You don't really want to do too much damage at home. You don't want to overdo it. So I'd say alternate those, but you can most certainly use, say, sagging skin is your nemesis. You can use something like radio frequency and LED. These are considered non-fractional lasers, meaning they will stimulate, again, producing heat. Just enough heat to signal more cell production, not enough to cause damage. The skin surface, it's just below the surface. Also designed it to be just underneath the pain threshold. Now, there are different modes. I think it's five different modes. You always want to start lowest and then build yourself up before you're in full power. These are more pinpointed. They're great for fine lines around the mouth and why I got it, around the eyes. Now, this is the original one. You'll see it's more of like a pinpoint, and you pretty much turn it on and do each point around your eye. And each eye maybe takes 1 minute. If you have crow's feet or lines underneath the eyes, I will be honest, it doesn't hurt unless you accidentally aren't against the skin fully, and then sometimes you'll feel a little spiciness. Now, the new Pro one is way larger. The thing is, you have to have full contact in order to do it. So for me, this is too large to do my entire eye area. I have to use the pinpoint one around my eyes. And if you have any like barcode lines around your lips, this would be a really good one for those mouth lines as well. I've also used them here. There's nothing saying that you can't use this on your full face, but they have been tested on just the eye and mouth area. My goal is actually to try this larger one on the forehead and my tech neck to see if I can get any results from that bad boy. Just know with any device, obviously you can get this same kind of laser in an office. You're gonna see immediate downtime. Whereas this, you will have no downtime. You will not see any visible damage whatsoever. Whereas the in-office treatments show a lot of damage to those areas. Show faster results. These, any collagen production takes at least 6 months. So know that going in, it's going to take a little bit of time in order to see those results. Clinical proof for every single one of these devices is very solid. It has been shown and proven, which is why I feel comfortable sharing these with you, even though I myself have yet to use them long enough, all of them. I've seen results from some of them, but this year, this is my year to be consistent. My goal this year was to be consistent and get a regimen that I can stick to even when I'm busy. That is the key, right? So if your goal is to use those kind of devices, I would say cleanse your skin in the morning. You can do red light, and then you could do the NERA or the RF, and you can also do microcurrent. If you want to incorporate as many as you can in your routine, you can do that, or you could then take half of them and use them at night. You do not need to use any of them more than once a day, in my opinion. I'll be honest, I do it based on time. When I have a busy day, I usually don't do these in the morning. Sometimes when I'm working, I will throw on my red light and multitask. Another device that's not really a device. I've had you guys ask me about this before. I finally bought them, but now it's just to use them consistently, right? And that is the Angel Lift. Have you guys seen these? And these are you put them in your mouth, and they are to help with lines around the mouth and also plumping up the lips, because again, as we age, we lose a lot of volume in our lips, and I'm definitely noticing that more so this year than any year so far. And so I bought the Angel Lift to try to see if I could notice a difference in those areas. Anyone use these consistently? Have you seen results? I was really good about the first month, and then I got sick, and alas, here we are. Now, a lot of those devices, as you saw, you have to use certain kinds of conductive gels in order to get them to work. It's a great thing about red light, doesn't need any gel, neither does the Nero laser, but the other ones do. So you can either wash it off. Some of them are designed as skincare that stay on the skin. I usually like, after my red light mask, to use some hypochlorous acid spray. So the Prequel Universal Skin Solution Dermal Spray. This is the one with hypochlorous acid. It's like washing your face without washing your face. It's more or less diluted bleach. Kills bacteria. I like to sometimes even just spray my mask with it to make sure it's still really clean before I put it on my face. And so if I'm not using a vitamin C, I will go in with this. Just know that if you put this on and you then go in straight with your skincare without letting this fully dry, you're gonna deactivate any antioxidants because it will react, okay? So this is fine, but let it fully absorb, and then you can go in with the rest of your routine. Just looking for a really good hydrating mist, because obviously after 10 minutes in your red light, your face is very dry and you wanna make sure your serums absorb well. My choice would be the Curel Deep Moisture Spray. I'm obsessed with the mist on this. It's just very refreshing, kind of dampens my skin. Obviously, you can also just use water and splash your face. After that is fully absorbed, go in with your vitamin C or your antioxidant of choice. And then I say go in with your targeted serum. Okay, so whatever that might be. Now, if you don't have any other concerns, you can use a peptide serum here, like I talked about in the first video. This is when I like to use my dark spot serum. Rosacea or redness is a concern. You can go in with a redness serum. This brand new one from In Beauty. Oh my gosh, it calms my redness so quickly. And it even has a color corrector side you can use if you're not gonna be wearing makeup, to kind of get rid of that flush. So either of these are amazing. Again, if you just want more anti-aging benefits, peptide serums that are also hydrating, or if dehydration is your biggest concern, 3 of my favorite hydrating serums to give yourself that extra boost underneath the makeup. So just like in part 1, I will put down in the drop box below the video each category with all of my favorites from that category. So all of my favorite peptide products, redness reducers, all of those kind of things, so you guys know some options, and just reach out to me if you want a recommendation based on what you're looking for. Just let me know. Since mine is hyperpigmentation, mine is going to be a serum for dark spots, because hyperpigmentation is a beast and you have to hit it at every step in the process of melanin synthesis. One of the key steps you don't want to skip if you are looking to diminish your dark spots is what we call a tyrosinase inhibitor. So tyrosinase is the enzyme responsible for melanin synthesis, which is literally skin pigment. Inhibit that, it will block one step of the melanin synthesis pathway, which is very complicated, but you got to hit it at every step in the process. So the first one is a tyrosinase inhibitor. Those are things like vitamin C, although I strongly believe vitamin C by itself will never get rid of your dark spot. I've used vitamin C for many, many years. It has never, ever gotten rid of mine, but it is one step of the process. So, other ones you've probably heard of are kojic acid, alpha-arbutin, licorice root, azelaic acid. So one of them I've been testing is the Dr. Idris Major Fade Hyper Serum. Love the packaging. You just like squirt it on your face. Super cool. It even comes with a refill. This one has alpha arbutin and kojic acid. Both of those are inhibitors. And it's also nice that it's not super drying. It also has a lot of glycerin to hydrate an entire line. And then her moisturizer has vitamin C in it. So you're gonna hit that at multiple points. I've just started testing this. My ride or die has been the mother science. Anytime anyone comes to me and asks, what do I recommend for dark spots? It is the Molecular Hero Serum. Now, this brand only has 3 products. This was their first product. They have a proprietary ingredient that only they have called malisasin, 10 times more powerful than vitamin C. It is a very strong antioxidant. It helps dark spots, sunspots, discoloration. Even seen it help fine lines, wrinkles. To me, like, this does everything and supports the barrier, never irritating. And you guys know with me, vitamin C can be irritating. It's definitely one of those one and done serums. Like, I have many of mornings skipped my vitamin C altogether and just use this because I know it's also an antioxidant. It's gonna do the same thing. This is probably the only serum I've ever actually seen a visible reduction in my dark spots. When I use this consistently, I can tell they're getting better. So I am back on my, okay, I'm gonna use this. In fact, I'm gonna use multiple of their products. I'm gonna share with you 2 of their other newer products, one that just launched and I've been loving. So Mother Science, so good. I'd say if you're looking for one product for dark spots, incorporate this serum day and night and you'll be golden, as you have those other key things in the process, which would be sun protection. Okay, so after you're using your targeted serum, you can go in with a moisturizer if your skin needs it. You can go in with a multi-purpose one like this one I shared with extra antioxidants. But I would say for me personally, I am making it a focus to use more tinted sunscreens. And this is because it has been shown that visible light can also worsen dark spots. If dark spots are a concern, that extra zinc oxide that's causing that tint in a tinted sunscreen will help, because I've been an avid sunscreen user for many years, but it's not always been tinted. My goal this year is, okay, I'm gonna try tinted versions and see if that will make a big difference for me, because I do wear sunscreen in my house. But when I'm not wearing makeup and I'm just going about the day, I'll just grab whatever sunscreen and I'll put it on, and it hasn't always been tinted. So I'm gonna try it. 3 of my favorites I've shared: Lightsaber, the tinted. Bloom Effects has a sunscreen serum that is tinted. Both of these are silicone free for under Seint as well. I love the One Skin tinted also because it has that peptide. It's giving me more anti-aging benefits as well. So there's my morning routine. That is what I do as a dark spot hyperpigmentation focus. I am going to cleanse and I'm going to use my devices, my red light therapy, my microcurrent, pop in my angel lift while I'm doing my red light, because you do it the same amount of time and we're multitasking. A near laser to help with fine lines around my eyes. Then we're going antioxidant, dark spot serum, SPF. Okay, you can add in a moisturizer if needed. When it added peptides, since I didn't use a peptide serum, you could use just a peptide moisturizer. So many options. If I'm wanting to make it as simple as possible, it's this. I rinse my face. I pop these in while I do my LED red light. I use an antioxidant serum that also will target my hyperpigmentation, and then I'll use the tinted SPF that also has peptides for mature skin. So you can really simplify this as much or as little as possible, depending on what you're looking for. Or you can be next level and do it all. And some days I do, and some days I don't. It depends on my day and my time, and if I need a little time for self-care. All right, so let's get into the PM routine. So I showed you my highest level of PM for my basics is double cleansing, a retinoid, an optional peptide serum, and a moisturizer with an optional eye cream. That was it. Now we're gonna go into the nitty gritty of skincare cycling, and I'm gonna show you guys how I set up mine. Skincare cycling, more or less, is just making sure you're not gonna overdo it on any one day. It is really good if you're introducing yourself to a retinoid. If you don't know how to introduce yourself to one, go back and watch part 1. I go over the details of how to start with any retinoid so that you do not have any sensitivity or irritation. For skincare cycling, we're going to exfoliate, we're gonna retinoid, we're gonna do a recovery day or 2, and then we're gonna go back to day 1. I set mine up this last month. Let's just start with the first. Barrier day, exfoliant, retinoid. Barrier day, exfoliant, retinoid. Barrier, exfoliant, retinoid. Barrier, exfoliant, retinoid. So you can kind of see I was attempting to add in an extra prescription strength ingredient for dark spots, which is one of the OG I had never tried before. I told you guys I was really wanting to step it up on my dark spots this year. So I got a prescription strength hydroquinone, which you can't be on for more than a few months at a time. It really irritated my skin, to be honest. My face, you guys know I just came off like a huge eczema flare and it just started flaring again. So this month, I tried to stick with this as well as possible, but all of my HQ nights that say hydroquinone, pretty much I started with like 2 weeks and then I had to take that out because my skin was not happy. So, moral of the story, always listen to your skin. And if you don't know how to listen to your skin, I'd say that would be your main thing. Use a calendar, write down what you're gonna do. Make notes. Like some days I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do that, or I'm gonna circle this, or if I didn't end up doing it, cross it out, make notes. Like my skin was irritated this day. It will tell you you can add an extra barrier day, which is more or less what we just call a rest day or a recovery day. If you have rosacea, you might need 3 barrier nights. If you're new to retinoids, you might have to adjust this because yours is going to be less often. This is using a retinoid twice a week. Because my skin was coming off of being really, my barrier got damaged in December and that's what gave me eczema. In winter, it is a little bit more prone and I know that. And so I can adjust and it's not the end of the world if I'm not gonna get an extra retinoid day in January. If you are oily or acne prone, you might want to do the opposite and make it a 3-day cycle. So exfoliant, retinoid, barrier, exfoliant, retinoid, barrier. And if you're already worked your way up to where you're doing a retinoid every night, you might just be doing a once a week exfoliant treatment. So 3 of these things, in my opinion, are very important for mature skin to have like a really well-rounded routine to where you're getting each one of those things in. I went into the importance of retinoids. Exfoliants are so important as our skin cell turnover decreases. If dark spots are a concern, it is a huge factor. So all these things are important. I know more than anyone, barrier is so important because once your barrier gets shot, you can't even do the active things that are gonna give you the most results. You'll have to take it back and barely exfoliate and maybe even stop your retinoid. So slow and steady wins the race, just like always, but sometimes it'll really help you to write it out and you can easily add something on a barrier night. So my goal was I was gonna add my hydroquinone on one of my extra barrier nights. I tried it for a little bit, didn't really work for me. I'm gonna slowly try to introduce it again. That's as good as it's gonna get. My other focus for night was something that I know I need to be focusing on, and yet I've never done it. And that is neck and chest. You should always take your skincare, they say, all the way down to here. Yet I'm really bad if I'm like already dressed and it's like a high neck. I just stop wherever my clothes are. I'm gonna be better about that. So one of my main goals is to incorporate some neck products, and I'm gonna show you how you can use some of these same things, but maybe less strong versions on your neck and chest if you're like me and have never done that before. All right, so first up, we're gonna double cleanse. So either an oil or a balm cleanser. Here are two of my favorites. I will put, again, like I said, all my favorites down in the drop box below the video. And whatever your favorite gentle cleanser is, cleansing is non-negotiable, right? So let's just act like it is day one. We're gonna exfoliate. I do recommend that you exfoliate at least once a week. I like to do twice a week. Usually my second day of the week is more of like a treatment. My first day is just a toner, serum, something gentle. Now, exfoliants are very dependent on what your goals are and also your skin. I have an entire deep dive on exfoliants. I will link down in the drop box below the video. Two of them that I did not talk about in that video. And this one has become my new favorite is the Sophie Pavitt Face Mandelic Clearing Serum. If you're acne prone, this would be my exfoliant of choice for you, or go in with some kind of BHA toner. When I am breaking out, again, I'm listening to my skin. If I'm breaking out and then suddenly it's an exfoliation day, guess what? I'm not necessarily going to grab any toner. I'm gonna look for one that has BHA in it, which salicylic acid, BHA is the only one that gets down into your pores and clears out congestion and oils. So I would pick something that has BHA. Here is a acne exfoliating toner. I love this Decult toner with BHA. The Naturium BHA is really good as well. Or I would just use this serum because this is made for acne prone skin. So first day of the week, gentle exfoliant, something for your skin type that you know is not going to cause any excess irritation throughout the week. Day two is going to be your retinoid. So my favorite retinoid of choice is the Crystal. I use the Crystal Retinol by Medigate, and I love this. If anti-aging was my only goal, I would just use this. Now, I have been incorporating a couple of other types during my retinoid nights because, again, my focus this year was dark spots. Again, Mother Science. So not only does this Mother Science, the original one is just called their Molecular Hero Serum. You can tell this one's a darker bottle. This is their Retinol Synergist. It also has that ingredient, that malisasin, but it also has a retinol incorporated with it. So it's a really great 2-in-1. I know I'm gonna get that active ingredient and I'm gonna get the benefits of the retinol. The same thing goes with this one, which is by Remedy. Love how transparent the back is because it has everything that's in it and what its benefit is. And it will tell you it's got retinol, mandelic acid, which is also that exfoliant I just told you I loved, kojic acid, glutathione, licorice root tranexamic acid, niacinamide, silymarin, acetylglucosamine. It has a lot of heavy hitters that I was mentioning before as far as tyrosinase inhibitors. So this one is Remedy for dark spots. Okay, great, Sarah, but I don't have dark spots. They also have Remedy for anti-aging, which is just for mature skin. This one has retinol and retinaldehyde, argireline, matrixyl 3000, glycolic acid, niacinamide, ceramides, resveratrol, and ferulic acid. So antioxidants, ceramides, niacinamide, and exfoliant, peptides, and 2 different kinds of retinoids. So I love the formulation of this brand, this Remedy brand. I would say if you're looking for like stair-stepping into a retinoid, picking one based on your concern, and it will kind of be like an all-in-one product. You don't need multiple retinoids at all. I just have a lot that I love. Now, I talked about neck and chest. I know I can't just go in with my normal strong retinol on my neck and chest. It would not be pretty. It would be very, very bad. I could probably use something like this as long as I did the entire process like I showed in the last video about working my way up to something like this. Since this has retinol and retinaldehyde, it might be a little strong to just start right on in with, but I just got sent backups of these from Murad. So they have different retinoid lines. I've used their retinol resculpt. This one is their strong one. This is their retinaldehyde. But they also have retinol versions, and this one is for brand new to retinoid users. This would be the kind of thing I would use on my neck and chest. So I'm gonna try this there. I'll show you what I have been using. Ultimate Miracle Worker by Philosophy. This is a nourish and rejuvenate face and neck cream with patented retinol complex. This cream is made for the neck and chest, or is made for the, I guess, face and neck, but I know it's a retinol, so I've been using it there. I'd say as long as you don't mind fragrance, it's just pretty fragranced for me. And then I was sent this in PR, so I've been testing it. Beauty Pie Uber Youth Neck and Chest Super Lift Serum Spray. So this is for when I'm really lazy and I need to use something and I maybe have a t-shirt on. I just like will go under my shirt and just like spray it. I'll just like spray it. Sometimes spraying is just so much easier, right? Is it just me? So this is what I've been using. I'm gonna try using a little step up and go in with a retinol. I need to check percentages, but I have a feeling this one is stronger. You can always work your way up. Start low and slow. Start weak, work your way up. Day 3 is going to be barrier. If my skin is happy and healthy, I just take it as like an easy day. Maybe I will do my LED face mask. Usually I grab my Centella. This is my ride or die. I can't even tell you how many bottles of this. This saved me going through my eczema and when my skin is itchy, because I still have it going on my eye. So this forever and always. I also would add in something like The Ordinary, the Soothing and Barrier Support Serum. I love this hot pink serum. It works really well. And barrier nights are always ones that I double up. I will go in with peptide serums. I feel like I've never been irritated by any peptide only serum. So these are like my hydrating and my anti-aging all in one. And I know they're gonna be gentle on my skin and not cause my skin to freak out. Now, obviously every one of these nights you can add as many serum steps as you want. You just want to make sure you're double cleansing, go in with your retinoid or your focused, targeted concern serum, and you always want to end it with your moisturizer. You can use the same moisturizer every night. I tend to grab a barrier moisturizer on barrier nights. I have a lot of great moisturizers that I love, and so I will add, like, you can just stick with a nice peptide moisturizer, use the same one you have. Doubt I always go in with my Extreme Cream because I know how much my skin loves it. This Alpine Beauty is really good in winter. It is a peptide and a barrier repair cream, so I feel like I can get the best of both worlds for something like that. And my newest love, I've only been using her for about a week and it's so good. Why? Because I'm obsessed with this brand. So, yeah, Mother Science just came out with a cream for the first time. So this is their 3rd product. They have the dark spot serum and then their retinol with that in it. And now they have barrier support serum with malisasin in it. So technically, I could make it really easy. I could wash my face and put this on and I'm still gonna get all of those benefits from that ingredient, which I love. Like, it's the ultimate lazy girl hack, right? Put it in a moisturizer, but it's a really nice luxe, like thick cream. Been using it every day. I have not been breaking out or anything. My skin loves it, which doesn't surprise me. This is called the Molecular Genesis Barrier Repair Moisturizer. What I love is that their clinicals are just like everything's 100% pretty much. Skin hydration, barrier function, smoothness, hydrated, firmer. Any skincare brand that has published journals, like published research on their products, to me, I can trust. So I will forever recommend products like this that I know will work. You can use this both day and night. It's a pretty thick cream, but I feel like it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. It's good. And then add in another barrier night, or do what I do, and I like to do a treatment night. So depending on what my skin needs and wants and how it feels. Usually I'll do a deeper exfoliation. So that's when I would use my Dr. Idris. This is the Flash Mask. This is a nice glycolic acid based mask. You can put it on and then you rinse it off depending on how long you leave it on, depends on how much you exfoliate. So something like this, or using the Dr. Dennis Gross, the daily, they're called daily. Don't use these daily. The Universal Daily Peel. This has got AHAs and BHAs. So if you're needing like a deeper exfoliation and maybe breaking out, this has got that BHA as well. Or say you're like, okay, Sarah, I just don't need more exfoliation. Maybe you have acne prone skin and you need your pores cleared out. You can do a nice clay mask. I really like this one because it is a Korean brand. It's not super drying. For me personally, I have very normal skin. So if you're oily, you might need something stronger. But this is the Mugwort Calming Clay Mask by Isntree. This one is great and not super drying for normal skin. Just needs a little clearing of congestion. So it would also be a great time to do a nice collagen mask. Say you just want to boost your glow, or say you have an event the next day. This is when I typically grab these type of masks. These are the ones that you put on and then they like turn clear. This one peels off. This is like the gel type that wait about 3 to 4 hours. I don't typically sleep in these, but I do like to leave them on about 3 hours before taking them off. And they give amazing looking skin afterward. But you do your skincare under it. So wash your face, put on a nice hydrating serum, and then put these on if you want to see the best bang for your buck, because it kind of holds all of that moisture in your skin, and that's what gives you that really glowy, dewy glass skin look. Now this one is amazing for the mature face because I've never used any other product, mask, serum, nothing, not even device that tightens and firms and lifts the skin quite like this. Oh, and it also depuffs. So say you had a little bit too much fun the night before and you drank, or you had way too much chips and salsa and you are really wake up puffy and swollen and you need to depuff in a hurry. This is incredible. It's the Clarins V Facial Intensive Wrap. Depuffs, relieves, brightens. This baby is so good. I typically only put it from like here down. I have used it even on my forehead, although I don't feel like it can lift much there, but like on this part of the face where all of that lymphatic drainage sometimes can really puff you up, it's incredible. I've seen people put this all over their eyes. Like, it really works. It's pricey, but it really works. And after that night, we go back to the beginning and repeat. So if you did a deep exfoliation on that night, then you would just go straight to your retinoid the next day. So it's 1 day shorter. If you did a different type of mask, then you could start over and you probably will need to exfoliate by the next day. So mine was kind of like every other week I did an extra barrier day. And this is where I introduce some new products I wanted to test, which are what's the newest thing that you're going to probably be seeing, I feel like, this next year on the market. And that's things that have stem cells and exosomes. This is like the latest and greatest when it comes to anti-aging technology. And yes, they do more or less all of the same things that we need them to do in mature skin. So stimulate collagen and elastin production, which in turn will reduce wrinkles and fine lines. Promote cell repair so that the skin texture and elasticity is better. Anti-inflammatory so that irritation or damage to the skin can repair faster. Hydration, help protect the skin from environmental things like UV damage, pollution, pretty much all encompassing everything you could want for mature skin. Promising, although you can have irritation or an allergic reaction, much like anything else. So I wanted to slowly introduce it into my routine. So I kind of use that extra barrier day to do that. Took out the hydroquinone and I added these. I do have Uzo, I think is how you say it. They have a stem cell moisturizer and serum. The Calcium has this patented PTT6. So I have the cream and then their very concentrated serum. I don't think I've ever seen. You use 1 drop of this. It's so tiny. And their eye contour cream. So one of the things that this one is good for is post-recovery. Say you just get a chemical peel or you do microneedling. This is gonna help your skin recover faster. So I plan on using this guy after I use my little microneedling device the next time and see if I can tell a difference in recovery time. I will say I haven't used them long enough to see results yet, but I am very optimistic on the research I have seen. You're gonna see more of this type of ingredients and research going into skincare coming out. Things I didn't really get into in the last video is eye creams. I feel like I used to believe they weren't really necessary until that really became like my biggest concern. And I've seen how much they can actually do for your skin. If you don't have issues with milia, with like this kind of area, like getting little white bumps, like where your moisturizer isn't too thick, you can use your moisturizer as your eye cream. But if you're really having mature skin and you're wanting to target those areas, this area around our eyes is way more sensitive. You don't want your typical retinoid going up there. You want to look for more like a retinoid based eye cream, something gentle or formulated for the eye area. So Murad's, that line I shared before, it has one. This one's a really great retinaldehyde that works great for the eyes. Or you could just go in with a peptide so you get 0 irritation. Again, a lot of these you can use around the eyes as well. I typically do. This one has other things to help with like darkness and that as well. Say, pick your eye cream based on your overall goal for around your eyes. There are so many on the market, but just one that moisturizes typically to me isn't enough of a difference unless I'm really struggling with milia with my normal moisturizer. There's some of them that are gonna be colored to help disguise darkness. That orange peachy color. This one's got added peptides and that orange color so that it disguises the darkness under your eyes. This one's got caffeine to depuff. It also has peptides and bakuchiol in order to kind of firm the skin. In order to get rid of darkness, it's got that tint and also tranexamic acid and vitamin C. So when you're looking into what each one can do, I do feel like there is a benefit to a lot of eye creams. Like sometimes I will just grab this guy who is purely caffeine if I'm puffy and nothing else. But if I'm just needing to hydrate, usually you can use your peptide serum. My main goal is anti-aging. I sometimes will use a retinol eye cream, but my holy grail is the One Skin peptide. This peptide truly has shown me the biggest result as far as my lines and wrinkles around the eyes. And so the topical eye supplement is my go-to. I would say one step from last regimen would be to add an eye cream if you haven't already. Just make sure it is targeting all of the things that you need to target for your eyes. There are differences between day and night. Like, I would never use a caffeine eye cream at night. It's pointless. Caffeine only lasts 8 hours. It's something you only need in the morning to depuff. Whereas a retinoid, I typically will only use it at night. It doesn't cause sensitivity due to sun exposure during the day. So you can have a couple different eye creams in order to step up your eye care to the next level. Around the eyes, the other thing I have written to focus on besides neck and chest is lashes. So I haven't been wearing lashes as often. I've been testing a lot of mascaras, and so I started getting into lash serums. Now, I am very opinionated on lash serums, to be honest. And people talk about, oh, ingredients to avoid. There's not very many ingredients on the market, really, that I would say. You need to avoid that and be careful, or that really should be a prescription only. And eye serums is one of those things that I am careful of. Prostaglandins, which are by many, many names, are something that can cause periorbital fat loss, which is this fat around our eyes, which will then really increase the look of fine lines and wrinkles, sagging, hoodedness, all of the things that I already struggle with and I'm trying to avoid. Can cause your eye color to change, so many things. And prostaglandins are in so many eye serums on the market, eyelash serums. And unless you know what you're looking for, you most likely have used one if you've ever tried. Two of them that I do recommend and I would use that are prostaglandin free would be the Ordinary Multi-Peptide Lash and Brow Serum. It doesn't have it. And then I've been using this Swede Pro Eyelash Serum. This one also is free and clear. So I've also been using brows. Now, Grande is a brand that does have prostaglandins in their eyelash serum. I'm not saying they don't work. They most certainly work. I'm just saying that's something I personally want to avoid. Sure my daughter doesn't use, because you don't get that fat back. You can't. No, there's no getting it back once it's lost. But research has shown brow serums are not something you have to worry about up in this area. It's along the lash line. So I have been using the Grande Brow Lash Serum, trying to get some growth in areas. And I have already seen a lot of growth in my brows by using this. Another couple things, just if you want to take it up to one more level, these are all optional. If you're doing all of these things, you're already well above and beyond most people. But I'd say if you're needing any of your skincare, maybe you have a great routine in place, but you're just wanting to kind of like see if you can get better results from any of your particular serums, that kind of thing, better penetration, you could add something like the Cica Hyaluron Riedel Shot. Start with 50 or 100, and this has those little micro Cica needles. They're not dangerous. They actually will shed with your normal skin shedding process, but they will cause these little channels in your skin. They're kind of, I don't want to say uncomfortable. The 100 is not uncomfortable. I've never gone any higher than that. You don't want to use this with a retinoid, so skip it on retinoid days. I'd say barrier days, if you're wanting to incorporate something, maybe once you've been using something like an exosome product for a while and you know it causes no irritation, you want to see if you can get better results from it, I would say you could use something like this on those nights. Before you put this on, it's going to give better penetration of your product. So body. So I talked about neck and chest. I probably wouldn't want to use a tiny little bottle on my full body to where I'm going through it. It can be a little costly, right? They do have great retinol body creams. I was just sent this one with my Murad stuff, and they just released the Retinol Resculpt Body Treatment. I have never seen a retinol, which is stronger than retinol, OL, in a body cream before. This is brand new. Haven't even opened it yet. I will be testing this on that really fun part behind the arms that likes to get real crepey. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean? Because soon it will be tank top season. And I saw their little brochure had a before and after of this part of a woman's arm. And I was like, yes, I really need that. So that is what I will be testing this on. Now, I have been using this on my body and seen great results. I use this almost everywhere though. I have used this on my chest. I use this on full arms. If my skin is just looking a little bit, losing that elasticity, that youthfulness. So this is the Body by One Skin. This is a big enough bottle that I feel like I can use it full body and I won't like go through it super fast. So I do love this, but I'm gonna be incorporating this in my routine. I will keep you guys posted. And then last but not least, since it is still technically winter around here, another step you can incorporate if dehydration, dry skin is your main area of concern, and that is adding a separate step after your moisturizer to kind of hold and lock it all in. We call it slugging, but there are many different products you can use for something like this. You can use good old Vaseline. It's the OG. It will work forever and always. It is amazing. If you have very sensitive, irritated skin, La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm is, again, also famous for a reason. It's a silicone-based cream, and it also can hold things in and also soothe at the same time. So if you're very irritated, use this. I like to use this on days like after I shave my face, which I haven't even mentioned yet. Next, if you've tried slugging with Vaseline or Aquaphor and you just can't stand the texture, try Experiment's Buffer Jelly. This is like an oil gel hybrid. This is very lightweight, great texture, as well as this one's a little bit different. It's a little sticky at first, but I love the feeling of this and the glow my skin gets the next day. So if you're like, I need a glow and I have dry skin, this is gonna hold in moisture. It is absolutely amazing. Royal Tulip Nectar by Bloom Effects. This is one of my go-tos when I'm needing an instantaneous rejuvenation to my skin, or you can just use an oil. So I feel like it's kind of confusing. People are always like, when do I put an oil in my routine? It depends on the oil you're using. Some oils are also occlusive, meaning they will hold in all of that moisturizer, all of the serums, everything you put on your skin from like evaporating overnight. Some of them aren't, and they almost need to be put in, say mixed in with your moisturizer or put on first. I like to use something like this. This is the Alphabet Oil from Good Light. It's a Korean brand. It has ferulic acid, which is known for anti-aging, but it's got vitamins A, B5, C, E, and then all kinds of ferulic acid plant oils. This is a really good all-encompassing oil. I use this everything from like dermaplaning my face to over my moisturizer to sometimes just on my face before I go in with my skincare. It's a great multi-purpose one. So if you have oils in your routine and you're like, where do I put them? You can use them after your moisturizer. Try that slugging with an oil, just kind of press it on over. It's not necessarily something you need to do every single night. If you have oily skin, you might not want to do it at all. If you're in the midst of winter like me, you might want to do it once a week. It can kind of take you to the next level in your skincare routine, but it's not necessarily something you need all the time or even have to do. And then last but not least, things you can incorporate maybe every 1 to 2 weeks, depending on your skin, and that would be dermaplaning. This is the Sonic Smooth. I have officially crossed over to just using this device to dermaplane my face. My skin has gotten so sensitive that this type of straight razor situation, no matter the brand, really is irritating my skin to the point where it takes a full week to recover. So I like this Sonic Smooth because it doesn't take off as much of that top layer of skin. I can still defuzz, but if you're wanting a glow, if you're wanting your skincare to really be able to penetrate deeper, removing the peach fuzz is one of the best things I ever did for my skin. I will always recommend it, always and forever. So good. Another thing that I incorporated this year that I also try to do once a week, once every 2 weeks, is to clear out my pores. I didn't bring in my little sebum softeners, but you can get kind of like toner pad type situations, or just get it in a bottle and you put it on your nose. You could even just like take a nice warm, I don't want to say hot, long warm shower, and let the steam kind of soften those areas of your nose and maybe your chin, forehead, wherever you might get congestion on your skin. And then use something non-vibrating to kind of gently scrape that gunk out of your pores. I started incorporating this year, and then I'll use something to kind of keep my pores clear, like with the BHA, salicylic acid in it. And it has been a game changer for congestion and breakouts all on my nose, because that tends to be where I get just itty bitty, little bitty breakouts that drive me crazy and in turn add redness to my nose. So using this and then using something like this to hydrate and keep my pores clear is something I would say is another level, especially if you have acne prone skin. So there you go. There was my month and my next level mature skin routine. I'm curious, are you inspired or are you overwhelmed? I feel like it can be really overwhelming to show you all of these products and to think you need to use all of them. You do not. Focus on your first concern, if that is mature skin. Get you that simple skincare routine in place, and then you can add to it if you have dark spots like me, if you have dehydration and maybe need to just add one simple thing like an extra hydrating toner before your morning routine, and then slug a couple nights a week. It can be very simple depending on what your skin needs, but the key is learning to listen to your skin. Adjust your schedule as needed. It's not set in stone. You can change it depending on how your skin is feeling. If you get irritated, you knock it down, you go to barrier nights, as long as it takes until your skin has healed. And sometimes that might be the rest of the month. It might be an extra 2 weeks. There is a long-term goals, not short-term. That is what's going to show you the results you're wanting to see. Consistency over perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. So let me know your thoughts. What would you like to see me test first? I feel like I almost need to do like 30, 60, 90 days where I use nothing else but like one of these things that I'm looking to test to see what kind of results we can get. My problem is I can't decide which one to do first. You know, in the comments below, what are you most interested in hearing about? And maybe I can challenge myself to do it for you guys. As always, I will put all of my favorites for each of these categories I talked about in the drop box below the video. Just hit the little more button and it will pop up. You'll be able to click and shop my favorite. And as always, if you have any questions over, you can't decide between a couple, you don't know which one would be best for your skin, just send me an email. I'm happy to help. It's sarah@thecountouredchemist.com. Hope that was helpful in upgrading your skincare routine. And thank you guys for being here. I'll see you next week. Love you.